What's up, guys? This is VinylicPuma back with another Fallout video, and it looks like a brand new Fallout game just got announced. And my prediction from about 2 to 3 weeks ago, or however many weeks ago it was now, ended up being correct. And this new Fallout game is going to be called Fallout 76, and it looks like it's going to be a spin-off title, sort of similar to how Fallout New Vegas was. Now, in a way, we really sort of weren't shown a whole lot in this trailer, and I'll go ahead and I'll link the teaser trailer in the video's description if you haven't seen it. However, there are some interesting things that we can pick out from the trailer, like how the game is, I guess, going to start out in Vault 76. And based on the song that's playing, which is a John Denver song called Take Me Home Country Roads, it appears that this particular game could take place in West Virginia or in parts of the Fallout universe's Eastern Commonwealth, which comprises the former states of West Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. However, instead of just leaving it at that, I wanted to go ahead and share a couple of interesting facts with you guys about the upcoming game that you might not have noticed from this particular teaser trailer. So we'll go over a couple of different things in no particular order, and we'll talk about some of the ramifications that these particular facts or just random things may have on the next game in the Fallout franchise. But I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the first thing, and let's talk about the ramifications of the John Denver song. Now, like I said earlier, the song playing in this reveal trailer or teaser trailer is John Denver's Take Me Home Country Roads. And you might be interested to know that according to Wikipedia, this particular song was recorded in 1971 in our own real world. Now, for those of you that know a little bit about the Fallout universe, you'll know that the Fallout franchise typically takes place in an alternate timeline from our own. And the phenomenon that caused this is known as the divergence. Now, for a long time, we've known that the divergence occurred sometime after World War II. However, we weren't really sure when the divergence actually occurred. Now, there's some reasonable speculation that the divergence occurred as a result of the transistor not being invented in 1947. And this is a pretty convincing argument when you consider that if you look at the Pip-Boy in this trailer, it's using tube tech, which is a precursor to the transistor. However, there's also reasonable speculation from the games that would seem to indicate that the divergence could have occurred later, as certain events like America's first spaceflight on May 5th, 1961, was actually piloted by Carl Bell aboard Defiant 7 in the Fallout universe, while Alan Shepard piloted Mercury 7 in our own real world on the exact same day. As this pertains to John Denver's Take Me Home Country Roads, the fact that this song was written in 1971 could indicate that the divergence occurred later in Fallout's timeline than we previously expected. Now, I suppose it's possible that Take Me Home Country Roads was written by someone else in the Fallout universe. However, it seems pretty likely to me that John Denver wrote it in both universes, which again might actually end up putting the divergence a little bit later than we may have previously expected. I guess we'll see what happens, but either way, I thought this was a pretty interesting factoid to share with you guys. Alright, so for our next thing, I want to talk about how Fallout 76 appears to take place shortly after the Great War. Now, this is sort of based on a terminal entry that appears in Fallout 3 in the Citadel, and I'll go ahead and I'll read that particular terminal entry for you. Vault 76 is one of our 17 control vaults. It will operate exactly according to the plan dictated in the marketing material produced by Vault-Tec and precisely to resident expectations. This vault will open automatically after a period of 20 years, and the residents will be pushed back into the open world for study in comparison to the other experiments. However, perhaps the most important indicator is the time listed on the Pip-Boy that you see at the very beginning of the trailer. If you look closely, it appears to say October 27th, 2102, which is approximately 25 years and 4 days or so after the Great War occurred. So based on these two pieces of evidence, it would seem that that would indicate that Fallout 76 is before the events of any of the currently released games. And I think Fallout 1 in particular takes place in 2161, so for Fallout 76 to take place in 2102 means it's like roughly 60 years before, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So while we may not have a definite idea of where this game is going to take place, we at least know when it's probably going to take place. Another thing that I want to talk about is that date that's mentioned on the Pip-Boy, as October 27th and the year 2102 are important in the Fallout canon. Specifically, October 27th was the day in 2077 that the soldiers being led by the then Captain Maxon finally left the Mariposa military base with their families and made their way to Lost Hills. As some of you that are familiar with the Fallout lore are aware, Captain Maxon would eventually become Elder Maxon and would eventually found the Brotherhood of Steel organization later on in that year. 2102 is interesting because it marks the year that Richard Gray, who would eventually become the master and the villain of Fallout 1, found the Mariposa military base, and in a certain sense, I guess this particular year marks the genesis of the Fallout franchise. Sure, I guess things really started to get kicked off in October 23rd, 2077, which was when the bombs actually fell. However, I guess the establishment of the villains really started in 2102, which was when Richard Gray fell into the vat of FEV. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but this date is pretty cool, and it does appear to at least be somewhat symbolic. After all, the player character that appears in this teaser trailer appears to leave Vault 76 on October 27th, which is the same day that Elder Maxon journeyed out into the American wasteland. So yeah, something that's pretty cool and something you may not have noticed or known about the trailer. Something else that's pretty obvious that I haven't mentioned about the teaser trailer yet is that the Pip-Boy looks a lot different. Now, based on some of the lore, the Pip-Boy that's featured in Fallout 4 is the Pip-Boy 3000 Mark IV, which looks a lot different from what we saw in the Fallout 76 teaser trailer. In fact, the Pip-Boy featured in the Fallout 76 teaser trailer actually looks a lot more reminiscent of what one might see from Fallout 1, Fallout 2, or Tactics, which is actually the Pip-Boy 2000 model. Now, if you look at the lower left corner of the Pip-Boy display that I'm showing on the screen, and then you look at the image of the Pip-Boy from the Fallout 76 teaser trailer, they seem to look more similar than what we've seen in Fallout 3, New Vegas, or Fallout 4. Ultimately, reviving the classic Pip-Boy design is pretty cool. Now, I'm not sure if it's meant to indicate where the game is going to take place or not, as Fallout 1 and 2 take place on the West Coast. However, seeing a new Pip-Boy design is nice, and further seems to emphasize that this game is going to take place in the past. Now, our final thing that I want to talk about here is that Fallout 76's release may have been foreshadowed in previous Fallout games. Aside from the mention of Vault 76 from the Citadel's terminal in Fallout 3, it is worth mentioning that Vault 76 is referenced in Fallout 3's DLC as well as in Fallout 4. In Fallout 3, Vault 76 is mentioned in an alien captive recorded log from the Mothership Zeta DLC, which plays as follows.
Hey now, no reason to get yourselves worked up. Whatever you need, I'm going to tell it to you. Well, I'm pretty sure you want me to talk into this thing, so here goes. My name is Giles Wollstonecroft. I'm the current Assistant Chief Executive Officer of the Vault-Tec Corporation. I was inspecting the construction site of Vault 76 when I was captured what I can only assume are alien beings from another world. I'm not sure what they want from me or what they will do to me, but whatever they need, I will readily provide. Perhaps if I can bridge our communication gap and establish a rapport with them, we can enter into an exclusive trade agreement. In fact, instead of talking to this damn machine, I'm going to attempt to address them directly. On behalf of the Vault-Tec Corporation, I'd like to extend a heartfelt welcome to you. Wait, you don't need that. Wait!
Also, you may be interested to know that the newscaster that appears on the TV at the very beginning of Fallout 4 has an interesting bit of dialogue that discusses Vault 76. Specifically, he says the following.
Since debuting Vault 76 last year in honor of America's tercentenary, Vault-Tec continues to expand with plans for well over 100 vaults around the country.
So from these bits of information, we can gather that the Zetan aliens actually made contact with a construction worker that worked on Vault 76, as well as the fact that Vault 76 debuted by Vault-Tec to commemorate the United States tercentenary or 300-year anniversary. While these individually don't tell us a whole lot, Bethesda has had a tendency to reveal settings for potential future games in the series through these kinds of obscure references. In fact, if you're curious, Bethesda did something very similar with the Replicated Man side quest from Fallout 3, which not only revealed Fallout 4's Institutes, but also the Railroad faction. Ultimately, it's pretty cool to see a surprising number of extraneous references to Vault 76, which may have foreshadowed the release of Fallout 76. And maybe Fallout 76, when it's finally released, will give us some breadcrumbs as to what the next Fallout game in the series is going to be. Otherwise, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video, and I am glad that we are going to be getting a new Fallout game, because it is about time. If you're new to this channel, be sure to let me know what you think about this video, and regardless of whether you knew or you've been around on this channel for a while, feel free to leave a like, click the bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos, and as always, thank you all so much for supporting the channel, take care, and I'll see y'all in the next one.